Thank you for joining us today on Radio Free New Hampshire for our series on the Model 1911 45. Today we will be field stripping the firearm and reassembling. Before handling any firearm, always be sure to clear it and ensure that it is not loaded. Drop the magazine and inspect the chamber to ensure it is empty. Visually inspect the chamber and magazine well, and being careful not to release the slide, physically inspect the chamber. Some pistols require squeezing the trigger prior to disassembly. The 1911 is not one of them. The first step after clearing is to remove the recoil spring and plug. I like to set the thumb safety prior to removing the recoil spring because it keeps the slide in place during the removal. To remove the recoil spring and plug, depress the spring slightly and turn the barrel bushing clockwise about 90 degrees. Be very careful not to release the spring as it holds a lot of energy and could easily hurt someone. I recommend wearing safety glasses to protect your eyes. Our next step will be to remove the slide stop, which serves as a takedown pin. Release the thumb safety and retract the slide until the slide stop lines up with the smaller notch on the slide. Push the pin from the right side of the firearm and pull the slide stop out from the left. Next, we will remove the slide from the frame. Never dry fire your 1911 with the slide removed, as it could easily cause damage to the hammer. With the slide removed, the guide rod comes out easily. Once this is complete, we will remove the barrel bushing by turning it about 45 degrees counterclockwise, and then slide out the barrel. Here you can see all of the major components of the 1911 when field stripped, to include the pistol grip and frame, the slide, the barrel bushing, the plug, the guide rod, recoil spring, and slide stop, and of course the magazine on the right. We will begin reassembly by sliding the barrel onto the slide and then replacing the barrel bushing on the end. The barrel bushing has a tab which needs to line up with the opening in the slide to allow it to seat. With the barrel in place, set the guide rod into the slide on top of the barrel with the crescent side down. With the slide upside down, to keep the barrel in place, line up the tongue and groove in the slide and frame and slide them together. You may need to jiggle them slightly to get them to line up. The next step will be to put the slide stop into place. You may recall the moving piece of metal attached to the bottom of the barrel. This is called the barrel link. The long pin on the slide stop will pass through the hole on the barrel link. To make sure this happens, visually ensure that the hole in the barrel link is lined up with the hole in the frame prior to inserting the slide stop. Once inserted, adjust the slide so that the smaller notch lines up with the square hole in the frame, so that the slide stop can pass into the hole. Once this is lined up, press the slide stop firmly to lock it into place. Make sure that it is flush against the frame and inserted fully before continuing. Our next step will be to replace the recoil spring and plug. As before, when removing the spring, move the slide all the way forward and set the thumb safety to prevent the slide from moving back when inserting the plug. Turn the barrel bushing about 90 degrees clockwise and insert the spring and plug. If you encounter resistance, you may have inserted the wrong end of the spring and it may not fit over the guide rod inside. Be careful to protect your eyes, as the spring can easily eject forcefully from the pistol while performing this procedure. Lock the plug into place by returning the bushing to its original position. final step in reassembly is to perform a functions check. It's okay to dry fire your 1911 when fully assembled. Ensure that the slide cycles and the trigger pull releases the hammer. Thank you again for joining us today at Radio Free New Hampshire for our video on takedown and reassembly of the Model 1911 pistol. Please check out our other videos and like and subscribe.